Claude Cowork for Coaches free webinar. Give me a thumbs up. Yes. Amazing. Brilliant. Okay, you can kind of see me. I'll be over here. I'm going to ask you, this is about coaches, and coaches ask questions. So you're all always asking the questions. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. And if you wouldn't mind just typing in the chat. Don't worry if you're doing other things and you can't type in the chat, just answer the questions in your head. But I'd love to know from you, what is your current usage of AI? What are you currently using, and what is your current usage of AI? I'd love to hear where everybody's at. Just type that in the chat. What are you currently using AI for, or what's your current usage? Do you use ChatGPT or Claude or all of them? What is your current usage? I'd love to hear where everybody's at with their AI tools at the moment. Are you creating agents? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Zena, thank you. Daily, mainly ChatGPT, coaching questions, training design, emails, but I'm still guessing that's the basics. Yes, perhaps we'll see what I can show you. Brilliant. Renee, welcome. And I use ChatGPT for random questions. There's probably not random questions. They're probably very specific questions. Mike for writing, proofreading, research, creation, soundboards, brilliant. And mainly using Claude, wonderful. ChatGPT all the time. Bev, helping with planning, preparation, strategizing, use folders and projects, very advanced. A couple GPTs, but don't use too much. Wonderful. Oh, Renee, that is not a random question. Like, what car I should buy next? That's not a random question. That's a great question. Brilliant. So good. Christine for creating newsletters, communication pieces, everyday use for private life to solve problems. I agree, right? It's the ultimate problem solver. I wrote an email yesterday which basically said that I literally, every time I need to solve a problem, I now create a dashboard for it. And I'll show you later what a dashboard is, and maybe you'll start creating some of your own. You use ChatGPT, Perplexity, brilliant, and started using Claude Code. Wow, advanced moves. Did just get to plan my holiday. Zena, that is like top points for that one for sure. Tarisha, daily use. Gemini, Copilot mainly depends on what you're needing it to do. Generating images, trying to create an agent, but I heard Claude is far better for this. Also analyze data, notebook to create reports. Wonderful. So there's a really great use of AI already, and these tools are incredible and they're changing all the time. So keeping on top of it is pretty darn, what's the word? Tough. Because especially when you're a business owner and you're a coach and you're also the marketing team and you're the admin person and you're the finance person and you're the accountant, but also the CFO and the COO and all of those things, it's no wonder that we want to try and ask it for all of the things and then try and get the most out of it. At the moment, it can't actually do laundry, but I'm working on it and I'm trying to come up with a plan for that. So watch this space. Claude Cowork is something that I started using. So I've been using ChatGPT for about 2 years. So when it first came out, maybe even 2.5 years, when it first came out, I started playing around with it. I was really intrigued by this new tool, and I love technology and I love playing around with these new pieces or new technology. So I've been playing around with that for quite some time. And then just so that some of you may not know me, but some of you do know me. Most of you know me, but some of you who don't know me, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Therese. I'm an executive coach. I've been working as an executive coach for about 8 years, and I love coaching. I also love technology. And what I discovered when I was working with ChatGPT is that it started to really bring out a bit of creativity in me. I was trying to push the boundaries of what I was able to do with it, what I was able to create with it. And then earlier this year, Claude Cowork came out. And as soon as it came out, and everybody started speaking about Claude, and there was these mutterings about Claude, I jumped on the bandwagon and I decided to have a look for myself. And it was really game-changing, and especially when they brought out Claude Cowork. Now, ChatGPT has brought out their work version, which is incredibly similar to Claude Cowork. So whatever you see here, you can probably do the same thing in ChatGPT work. I do think that they've got a few differences, and I do think that Claude is a little bit ahead of the game in terms of these tools, and also with things like copywriting. But you get to decide at any time. But when it came out, I really started to play around with it. I started to test various things, and I decided to set up my whole business around it. And I made all the mistakes. I put posts out, and I think people looked at it and said, "Oh, that's AI slop," and all of those things. But I made all the mistakes so that you don't have to make any of those mistakes anymore. And one of the things that I realized is that the difference is not the prompt. It's not how you prompt it, it's how you set it up. Your context and how you set up your documentation, the context, what it knows about you, how you speak, the information that you give it about you at the very beginning is the most important part. Now I've been able to, I write my email newsletters with it, and I get like a 63% open rate because people are interested and they want to read what I have to say. And a lot of it is written with AI. I know that might sound like a bit of a shock to people, but it's not that it's all written with Claude. It's written with my context, with my style, with my insights, with my ideas. It's crafted by me. And instead of it taking me 4 hours to write an email newsletter, because a lot of my newsletters reference scientific data, instead of it taking 4 hours, it now takes me 2 hours. And that's a huge saving for me. But also, it still sounds like me, which I think is so important. So I want you to keep that in mind. It's not about the prompting, it's about how you set it up. The other thing to keep in mind is that Claude Cowork, and what I'm going to show you here, is not just about copywriting. I know a lot of people don't want to use AI for copywriting, and that's perfectly great. The things that I'm going to show you don't even need copywriting. You can have your own copywriting, and it's going to blow your mind what is possible as well. But I'm going to just share with you the foundations of the most important part of how you set up your AI. So it starts with context. We want to make sure that it has the context about us, about who we are, our voice, our brand, our offers, our brand style. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like inside of Claude in a minute. But we want to make sure that context is well set up and also that it's updated on a regular basis. Then we want to set up projects. And I think Bev was mentioning projects, setting those up. Working within a project is going to be so helpful because it's going to enclose your information within a project so that the memory and anything that you decide, decisions that you make, context that changes, anything about you that shifts is going to be held within that project, and that memory is going to be updated over time. So essentially what you're doing is you're training that project about you, and it's getting better and better over time. So you want to make sure that you are using projects in the best possible way. The next thing that you want to do now, I think if I use this word in my house, I'm fined. Skills. Oh my goodness, skills are the bee's knees when it comes to absolutely anything that I do now. I have a rule. I've created a rule for myself that basically says that anytime I do something twice, I create a skill for it. If I'm going to do it again, I'm never going to do it manually ever again. I'm going to create a skill for it. So if you were to see my Claude, you'll see I have tons of skills, but that's because I create them based off of the actions that I've taken. And I'll show you exactly how you can use them, what they are in a minute. But I'm just giving you this foundation so that you can visually see how it all works. The next piece is automation. What we want to be able to do is then, once we have skills, once we've created repeatable workflows or workflows that can be repeatable, we actually want to start automating them, doing them in the background while we're asleep or just before we come to work on a Monday or on a Sunday, preparing us for the Monday ahead, whatever the case is. We want to make sure that we're starting to build things that actually run on a schedule. And then there's another word that's illegal in my household, and it's dashboards. I'm going to show you some dashboards. I love a dashboard. The thing that makes a dashboard so beautiful is that it takes your idea, your concept, the thing that's in your mind, and it creates something that's visual that we can then play with. And it also can start to connect with outside connectors, and then it's able to give us really up-to-date information about certain things. But I'm going to give you some examples about what those look like in a minute. So one of the things that I want to, before I go any further, is I want you to know that you do not have to start from a blank page. My husband and I have joined forces because both of us are quite tech savvy, and we created something that fits with Claude. And we've just a little secret for those who don't want to move from ChatGPT to Claude. My husband is currently building the ChatGPT version of it, but it's going to only be available in the next couple weeks. But we've created a plugin that allows you to put it into Claude, and it will create all of your context for you. It walks you through exactly step by step how to build the context. It asks you all the right questions, and it sorts it into a folder structure for you. Who wants me to press this button? Who wants the easy button? Anybody? Raise your hand or give me a thumbs up in the chat. Who wants the easy button? Because it is absolutely available. Okay, easy button. Yeah, I got a raised hand. So we're going to press the easy button. Okay, so essentially, we've created this plugin that you can put into Claude and ChatGPT, and it will actually do all of this for you. This set up that foundation. It's going to get you up and running as quickly as possible, especially if you haven't been using it for all of the other pieces, the skills, the automations, the dashboards, and the projects just yet. You want to be able to set it up properly, and then you can go into the next steps. So I'm going to give that to you for free after this webinar. No strings attached. The first thing that I also want to raise is, yay, love and hearts and applause. I love it. Bring it all. The first thing that I want to raise is client data. Safety and data security is one of the most important pieces when we're working with clients, when we've got amazing transcripts that we have with our clients. And this was a big thing for me, right? I wanted to make sure that my client data was always safe, but I also, as a coach, that there are things inside a transcript that maybe you haven't picked up, a trend or a gem that you said, or a client win, or something that is there. One of the reasons why I've always wanted to use AI for my coaching is because I wanted to learn, how can I get my clients' results faster? And I know that's a question that we all ask. Is there a way for us to make it easier for our clients to get the results that they want faster? What can we do to help them to, not that they need any help, I'm sure they can find help themselves, but is there a way that we can help them get there faster? I mean, because if we have a magic wand that allows them to get there, of course we would want to offer them those solutions. So one of the things was client data. I knew that there was loads of information inside a transcript that was really, really important that I could help my clients with. And I wanted to give them client notes that are based off of my frameworks and my style after the session, so that they could remember, because you also know clients forget. We forget some of the things we said. We forget some of the gems that we spoke about. So one of the things that I created was in Claude. I created this in Claude. I created a transcript scrubber. So one of the things that we don't necessarily want to do is put transcripts with live names and data into an LLM. So we want to take that out. So I created this transcript scrubber that takes a transcript, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. If you create a client, you have a client, this is a demo account, so I'm just showing you a demo version. If you create a client and you have a client library, you can then go to scan and scrub. We're working with Marcus Delaney, who is a fictional person. If I add in a transcript just over here, it's got his name and my name and all those things, and I scan for identifying information. It will come up with, I think it's actually, why did it do that? Let me just redo this quickly. That might not be working. Let's do this again. There we go. All right, let's scan for identifying data. Okay, so it's picked up some of the identifying data some of these things aren't actually important. Oh, the reason why is it's already picked up. It's in my client library, in my codebook. It's already picked up this client with all of this information already. So if anything, anytime a transcript has been loaded in the past, it actually has all of this already stored for that client. So it's going to already scan and scrub that out. So if we put our transcript in here and we scan for identifying data, the only new identifying data that's come up is actually not really identifying data. We can add that and it suddenly has replaced all of that identifying data with client 2 or 2A. And now we're able to use that to put it into our Claude and be able to create some client session notes for our client without any identifying data. The thing that is going to always be important is to make sure if you're on a pro account, on a pro account, you will have something that says privacy. I don't have it in team account. This is a team account, but you'll have something that says privacy, and you'll need to select do not train the Anthropic model. I think it's something along the lines of, let's see, not that one. Let me have a look. Not here. I'll show you what it looks like. I've taken a screenshot so I can show you an example. Where is it now? Okay, I'll have to find it for you. But I think maybe somebody's sharing me. I don't know. If you find the exact word for me, just let me know. I'll find the screenshot. For some reason, I can't find it right now. But you will make sure that you're not training AI data. Tarisha is asking, when you scrub the doc in Claude, won't Claude still be able to link the scrubbed items to your research or task? No, because this transcript scrubber is not held in Claude. It's held on your desktop in a private space. So you keep it only in a closed, password locked folder. That's the only place where client data is then kept. And then also wherever your transcript is kept, whether that's Zoom or Fathom, etc. So that's the only place where your client data will then be kept. Okay, so let us get into the juicy bits. So that's the first part. What is possible with just Cowork? I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you a very quick lay of the land, but if you want more information, if you want to go deeper into this to really set this up properly, you're going to get the free plugin. I'm going to share the link in the comment section. You're going to get the free plugin, have access to that, and you'll be able to get the training that helps you to set it all up. And it will take you through exactly how you get your Claude set up very quickly and easily. But I'm going to do a quick lay of the land. And if you want to go deeper into this, I am also going to share later on about the 30-day challenge. It is a 30-day Claude Cowork challenge. I'm sharing the link in the comments. And you are so invited to join me. It's going to be so much fun, I promise. We're going to set up all your workflows. We're going to create an incredible business for you. We're going to make sure that everything runs like precision. Beautiful. So quick lay of the land. Here we've got projects, and within projects, you're going to have a project for your business set up. I always recommend that you keep a separate folder for your business and you keep a separate folder for personal, and then you would keep separate folders for clients. This is a demo account. I know a lot of people want to have projects for their content and projects for that. I recommend you keep it all in one space because it's going to create memory for you. You're going to have context documents in one folder space, and it's going to create memory and train everything all in one space, and also be able to access things all in one space. If I give you an example, this is Northbridge, a demo company. They have their context, and they've set up their AI Amplified Exec program, which is the plugin that does all of this. What it does is it creates all of these beautiful folder structures for you, and then it creates these context documents for you after you've had a conversation with it. It will do this automatically. You just follow the steps, and it will take all of this information from your brain and create these context documents for you. This is where that context will sit. And then everything that's an output will sit within outputs, and you'll be able to go and check by date, what are all of the things that you've created. The most amazing thing about Claude Cowork and now ChatGPT work is that this folder structure actually sits on your desktop. So if you open up this, if you click that button there, it actually opens up this folder, and it's sitting in your folders, on your desktop, or on your your laptop, your desktop, your documents. It can also be connected to your OneDrive, but you can create folder structures, and it can start to create outputs that sit on your desktop as actual outputs. So it's never lost in a chat. That's the problem with a Claude chat or a ChatGPT chat, is you're having these great conversations and then suddenly it's lost, like 60 conversations down the road, and you have no idea how to find it. The search function is not great. And it also hasn't delivered an output for you, a deliverable, something that you can use, something that you can give to your clients, or something that you can, move forward with. And that's why this Claude Cowork, ChatGPT work, brilliant. You have to use it. It's a prerequisite. I'm just saying that. Okay, so before I show you what it can create, this is where it all lives. And please do ask any questions if I'm going too fast. I have lots of energy, and I want to make sure that I give you as much value in this session as possible. But if anything is unclear, please do ask of me. Northbridge, as an example, if we look here, that plugin, what it's also going to be able to create is it starts to create your brand context, and it creates these context files as an MD document. An MD document is a markdown file, and markdown is really just a very efficient way for text to get communicated within Claude. Because if we look at this document on a text file, let's have a look. If we can open it, you'll actually see that it has a bit of like hashtags and codes and things like that. It doesn't look very pretty to look at it like this, but it's actually a very efficient way for Claude to understand that information. And what it's going to be able to do for you when you work through the brand context with the plugin is it's going to create a brand preview, which is a brand style guide of your brand. This is an HTML document that shows you visually what your brand looks like. People would spend thousands of money on this. This is one that I created from my mind, and also with a bit of inspiration from other various places. Some of these tools and inspiration pieces I will be sharing in the 30-day challenge. But as you can see, I think it's pretty darn amazing for a first stab for somebody who's not a graphic designer. But if you plug in visuals of what your brand looks like, pictures, the fonts, the colors, some examples, some of your templates that you've used in the past, the plugin will create this HTML file for you, for your brand style. What next? Okay, so it's also going to create your brand context, like I said, that's the text version of it, your business context, which is going to be about your business, how it works, your offers. Everything in these context documents is actually a really powerful bit of information that it's going to hold about you. It's almost like giving it, and that's why I've called this process like creating your chief of staff, somebody who knows everything about you, even your objectives. So it's going to capture your objectives, and you can also talk to Claude and update any of this. If you don't like it, if it changes, you can just say to it, update my context, update my objectives, update my role, update my stakeholders, even my voice, any of that. Let's look again at some of the things that we can create. So one of the things that I created with very soon, let me go backwards actually. I'm going to show you first skills, because I spoke about them so highly earlier and I haven't even told you about them. So if you go into your settings at the bottom here, or you can even go into customize and you can go to skills, you'll see I have a few skills here. This is not as long as my actual list. My actual list of skills is very long and so much fun. But here, there are all these amazing skills, and a skill is so powerful because what it does is it's actually, I'd like you to think of it like a master prompt, but like an extra super duper master prompt. So for instance, we've got, let's just say a delegation brief skill. if you open up the skill, you can actually see it's really just a document. It's an MD file again, and it just gives a whole lot of context, and it tells Claude exactly what to do and how to do it. So you will say, this is a delegation brief one. So it says, ask some information up front, extract and map. So it says, figure out what's going on for this person. What's the person, the outcome, the why, the decision rights, the constraints, the resources, what success looks like. Make sure you get all of this information out, and then you're able to create a successful decision brief. So instead of us trying to remember all of this stuff, Claude can just prompt us and ask us, get everything out of our mind. And it will create either a written brief, or it will create a conversation script that you can use if you're having a conversation about delegation, and it's also got some hard rules, etc. Beautiful, right? I'm going to show you an example of how a skill works. So I'm not going to do the loading here because that's just going to take some time and waste a bit of time. But I'll show you. This is exactly how I created. I've got a client session notes skill, demo skill. All I did is I created, if you want to be able to select a skill that's already created, it's a workflow that you've stipulated exactly what it needs to do. All you do is you / and you type the skill, client session notes demo as an example, and then you would type in your transcript. You would copy and paste your transcript right here, and you'd press enter, and essentially what it's going to do, I'm not going to show it to you now because it's already done it for us. Essentially what it does is it says it's created that client session notes because I've told it to create this client recap and also take out all of my coach gems, my insights, the great things that I've said. It's created these 2 documents for me. So the first one is a client recap document. And it basically says, hi clients, quick recap from our session on the 14th of May. These are the wins you shared. I always start off with 3 wins. These are the key reframes that we spoke about. These are the actions that you mentioned. And then also where we might focus next, and then see you at the next session at the date and time. It's created that ready to go. I always edit. Please always edit and check the work that you're submitting. I would always recommend that. And then it's ready to go. And what I would then do is I'd be able to copy that into my transcript scrubber and into my restore tab for Marcus Delaney, press there and restore names. And suddenly I've got a readable version right here with his name back in the mix. I just can't believe sometimes that I created that with Claude. What I want to leave you with is you're going to create something amazing with this. And it's not going to be what anybody else creates. And that is why I'm so passionate about AI and these tools, is because suddenly the opportunity of what you can build, your imagination can now create something like this in minutes or in hours if you want to spend a bit of time on something. But imagine, just think of all the things that these ideas that you've always had. Suddenly there's an opportunity for you to showcase them in a way that is helpful to someone. That's a framework, that's a tool, that's a dashboard. I just can't wait to see what you create because it's going to be so unique. And that's, I think, the power of this tool. The other thing that it will create is this content summary. So one skill has created my recap and my content summary. I don't know if it tells me how long it took, but it was not so long to create it. But it says my coach gems, like what's a different story that could also be true? All of these questions, like client wins. I could maybe use those if I wanted to for my social media, content angles that I could use. And then I can actually just say, write me a LinkedIn post or 5 using my client to summary. And because it's got context of me, and okay, this one's not going to have the right context of me because it's a different coaching context, but it's got these coach gems. It's probably going to create something that's way more aligned to me and my ideas and what I'm putting out there. I'm going to also show you one of the things, the beautiful thing about Claude is you can actually multitask. I know we're not really supposed to multitask, right? But you can, because so it can be running this in the background. You'll see it says running, and you can go and do something else. So as soon as you get another idea, if you have an ADHD brain, I think this is the best thing. You can actually use this to your advantage, and you can open up something else and create something new. So one of the things that I've created is a client proposal email skill. And I shared this with someone on another webinar where I said, now when I create my client proposals, I don't just send an email. I used to send an email with a client proposal and like a PDF document with, standard PDF documents that everybody got the standard stuff. Now I create a personalized proposal on an HTML document that looks like this. So this is an example prepared for fictitious client, but it's got all of these pieces here that we can scroll down. I send it to them like this. It's an HTML document. They open it in their browser and they're able to read it. I shared this with a client, somebody on a webinar. She took this idea, a webinar 2 weeks ago. She took this idea. She's pitching to law firms. She said she was so proud to show them her HTML proposal, and it looks like she's going to land the client because they were so impressed. They were like, wow, we've never seen a proposal like this before. So this is automatically done on my brand because remember, I have my brand context set up properly. It is personalized to the client. It has personalized information, and it's also got some pieces here about my work, what it is that I offer. It's got this visual that basically shows what is delegating actually worth. Like, how can we visually show the return on investment with some of the things that we offer, right? So I was saying, what is delegating actually worth? And actually, we can use this slider. It actually creates this. Obviously, it's just illustrative, but really just visually showing like this is actually such a massive, it can make a massive difference to us if we really start delegating and leading. It shows my program, which is all interactive and gives more information. It gives the stack, my pricing. It shows the companies that I've worked with, my testimonials. It has questions, and even this question is personalized to this person. It shows it about me, how we begin, links to how we can get connected again. It is like a website. Yes, it is like a website. But here's the thing. I'm noticing a huge trend that people are now sharing HTML documents in place of PowerPoints and PDFs. And I'm definitely going to be leading the way with that. So I use HTML documents for pretty much everything nowadays. The other thing that I want to show you that I've created, like I said, dashboards. One of the things that I've created for my clients, I create something called the 313 plan. So I help them to understand their vision, their 3-year vision, their 1-year focus, and then their 3-month action plan. And then we're able to take from that transcript, or I can give them the skill to go and use the transcript on their own in their own personal Claude to create this beautiful vision board and future self board that has their North Star, their vision, everything that they want to get better at, their 1-year focus, the next 90 days, some of the things that they wanted to specifically tick off, some of the daily actionable habits. Also, it's got a day in the life. Imagine you wake up before the alarm and the house is quiet. You don't reach for your phone. You sit for 10 minutes. Now, this is personalized to this client. This is obviously fictitious. It's not a real client. Who you become. There's some mindset pieces, some reframes that we spoke about in our conversation. And then there's even an opportunity for them to create a vision board. This does not take a long time, and it's not difficult to do. There's just a couple of things and steps that will help you to create these. But I definitely think that anybody who is here, whether you're technical or not, you can create this. Some of the other things that I've created for my clients is one of my clients was swimming the channel. We had a conversation. She told me all of her challenges, all of her constraints. And I said, well, I'm just going to create a dashboard for you. And we're going to factor in all of these things. And we did. And she's now been just sticking to the dashboard, and she knows how many hours she's swimming, how much sleep she's getting. She's able to interact with this and also change things, so she can edit sessions, and she's able to go into her tapering. She's going to be doing the channel towards the end of this month, which is pretty darn incredible. I've created a summer dashboard for myself. I created for one of my clients, I created a coaching questions for leaders. He was struggling with answering questions and going into Zoom sessions, not answering, asking questions, and wanted to ask better questions. And, you know, it's hard for us to remember on the fly. So I said, I'm going to give you a coaching question session planner. So you can go in here and you can say, what is this conversation that I'm going into about? Okay, it's about a decision. And then it'll give you all of these beautiful questions that you can add, and you can open it up as a session and have all of these questions ready to go. Anything that you want to just check in on, and you can have these available to you, or you can print them, etc. The other thing that I had an idea the one day, and I was realizing one of my clients was thinking that he wanted to coach more often. And I realized that he wasn't just making a distinction between the fact that leaders aren't just about coaching. We also need to sometimes tell. We also need to say exactly what our expectation is and exactly how we want it done. And we also need to teach, especially if we have great experience. And we need to be there as a mentor to showcase our experience and what we've done and what's worked for us in the past. And we can also offer advice. There's a range to us. And I was like, bouncing this off of Claude, and then I said, create a framework for me on this. And this is what it created. It basically created this range of, you know, teach, who holds the answer, who decides what happens next. Whereas coach is about them having the answer, them what happens next, and some really powerful teaching ways to help them understand this range that we can have as a leader. All right, so where are we in this mix? There are so many use cases and so many things that we can create with Claude. I'm going to show you a few more. Let's go to here. Oh, it's created us some LinkedIn posts. A client did something this week that I haven't stopped thinking about. When I feel cornered, I go into transmit mode. He'd walked into a board meeting, so personalized, so specific. One of the most useful questions I ask leaders is deceptively simple. What's a different story that could also be true? Created based off of your ideas, based off of your conversations, and also your context, which is the most important part. Some of the other things that we can build are beautiful slides, presentations. Like I said, I think PowerPoint is dying, and we can start to use HTML. This is an HTML PowerPoint presentation, but all you need to do is if you open it up in Google Chrome, and if you go view and enter full screen, it acts like it's not going to, yeah, I'm just going to do it now, but it acts like a presentation anyway. So that's how you can get around that. Now I'm going to have to try and figure out how to undo that. Okay, there we go. Obviously, a lot of my clients are execs, so I've been showing them how they can create board packs with executive summaries and all of this information just based off of their data, their information. Obviously, they're also on team plans. They've got security. If they're using Claude, they've got all the right security checks in place. Any questions for now? Anything that I haven't covered for now? I want to make sure that we get through all of it. Let me just see if there's anything else. The other thing that comes with the plugin is once you've added in all of your context, it's going to create this command center for you, which showcases your tasks, some of the things that are on your objectives list, your risks and actions. Now, this is very executive, but what you can do is you can take this and you can make it your own. You can talk to Claude and you can change it and you can adapt it. That's the powerful thing about Claude, is it's the most personalized tool, the most personalized productivity tool that we've ever had exposure to or opportunity to work with. But this is a beautiful way to just keep a dashboard of what's happening in your business right now. Alrighty, let's see what else. There are so many opportunities, so many things that you can create. What the thing to keep in mind, and the reason why I would really recommend that if you're going to start using these tools, please let it be a Claude Cowork or a ChatGPT work. They will start to work within your folder structure and also will start to create outputs, deliverables, things that you can actually use. One of the pieces that I was able to create with Claude is a website. So obviously, I do want you to come and join the challenge, but this is the beautiful website that I created with Claude. And it shows you exactly what it is that you're going to get. All of this, I spoke to it and I created a website. And if anybody knows how difficult it is to create websites, you'll know that this is not an easy thing to do without a powerful tool. And Claude is a very powerful tool. So go and have a look at that website if you want some inspiration, but you can create websites. And in the 30-day challenge, I will show you exactly how to do that. Another thing that I created in ChatGPT, one of the other things that we'll look at is connectors. So you can also start to connect some powerful tools to your Claude. Obviously, you need to take into consideration the safety aspect and make that decision based off of your knowledge about what data you're going to be using. But one of the things that I use is Notion. And I told Claude to go and scan my Gmail for the past year and to create a CRM for me based off of everybody that I had spoken to. And it built this incredible CRM with people, and it filtered them into categories of clients, leads, suppliers, family, friends, all of that into a CRM dashboard. And it also then said, this was the last time that you spoke to that person. Maybe it's a good time to reach out to them. One of my key objectives is to get Claude to make them more efficient, but also to talk with my VA and my CRM so I don't drop the ball and get distracted from other shiny objects. Absolutely, Mike. What is your CRM, just as a matter of interest, because it's probably going to be a connector that you could connect in here. And then to talk with your VA, tell me a bit more about Go High Level. I'm not sure if Go High Level, they may have like an MCP connector. It's one of those things that we could maybe explore in the challenge. And then when you say talk with my VA, what does that specifically mean? Do you mean offer them a brilliant delegation brief? Maybe you need a delegation brief skill that enables you to delegate to them clearly so that they know exactly what needs to be done. Task setting and follow-ups. Yes, for sure. One of the things that you might then be able to do is to create a scheduled task. We'd want to look at I know you weren't shouting, don't worry. We want to be able to look at, and this is what we're going to do in the 30-day challenge, is we're going to look at your workflows and we're going to look at step by step. I have skills that will help you work through this as well. So we're going to look at step by step what is the current process, and then how you can map that back to create a workflow that is then scheduled. So like I said, once you've got a skill, you can then schedule that skill as a scheduled task to run at certain times based off of certain information that it's pulling. So we'd be able to dig a bit deeper into personalizing it to you. We don't want to just create any old workflow if it's not going to work for you. So that's one of the things that we would certainly look at. Morning briefings, get into the morning. One of the things that I've got is I've got a dashboard that checks who hasn't responded to my emails the past 3 days, any tasks that have come in from my Gmails. It adds it to a task list. And then I'm able to allocate that if I'm going to do it today, if I'm going to do it another day. I've created it, but it's completely personalized to me and how I work. You can get recaps really quickly from sessions, proposals that can be sent out the same day. And once all of this admin is done, you can actually just relax. P.S. I'm not going to tell you that you're just going to relax, because once you get into this, it's so much fun and you're just going to want to play. That's essentially what's happened with me. But that's why coaching is so important, for somebody to be able to be there to say, hang on, you don't need to be playing with these tools all the time. You can actually take a break. All I'm saying is beware of a tool that is also so fun. Make sure that you're you're having fun with it, but also creating the results that you want, and it's not detracting from the life that you want. All right, so we've got two next steps for you. So the first one is get the free plugin. You just need to go to tuitive.ai/free plugin, download the free plugin. It's going to give you access to the membership space. You're going to get the plugin. You're going to get my sound human skill. Now, the sound human skill doesn't mean that you are going to not create your own work and it's going to make it not sound like AI. All it is, and I'll show you what it is it's really just gone through all of the latest trends, the things, the big tells, the things that Claude or ChatGPT do currently that makes it sound a little bit AI-ish. So if we go here, it's updated July 2026, so it's very fresh, and it's got the 12 tells, the 12 things that come up the most often. It just removes those from your text, and you still want to make sure that you've edited it. So it's going to have that sound human skill available to you. Oops. And you're also going to get the training on how to install it. Now, if you want to go to join the 30-day challenge, here is what we're going to do. In week 1, we're going to make sure that your foundation is captured. We're going to get your voice captured. I've also got some tips and tricks on how to make that voice even better. So I've actually created additional voices for additional pieces of information. So I've got a voice for my email newsletter. I've got an email voice. I've got various different voices that I use for different contexts. I'm going to make sure that that foundation is beautifully set up, your folder structure set up, and everything is working wonderfully. We're also going to do your own 313 plan. We're going to create this future self board. We're going to create what this is for you, because why not? Why not have a beautiful dashboard to get started with? So we're going to start there. Then in week 2, we're going to do the multiplier. So we're going to look at all of the things. Now, I have a skill that will help you create skills. What I mean by that is a skill that's going to teach to figure out which skills you need to create for you, for all the work that you do over and over again, the work that you hate, the work that you don't like. We're going to create skills for you. People call them agents. Really, they're skills. They're agents that basically work on multi-levels. Then we're going to create, in week 3, we're going to do some automations. We're going to link all those skills up and we're going to create these automations. Again, it needs to be personalized to you and how you work. How are those workflows going to fit together? What are those things that you need to be held accountable to? So Mike is saying, task setting and follow-ups. That is a perfect automation structure. Some of those things that will follow up with you at certain points. And then in week 4, we're also going to start to look at dashboards. And throughout this mix, we're also going to have some bonuses on creating websites, building a CRM, and some pieces that we'll just take them with the audience and see what everybody needs or what would be amazing, and we'll just build them together. This is what's included. So there's 8 live sessions that you get, one build session every week at the beginning of the week, and then a Q&A and troubleshooting session at the end of the week. So you go and build, and then you come up against challenges, and we sort them out. We figure them out together. You're going to be held and very, really supported on this journey. Then you're also going to get 10 ready-to-use AI agents, all of the things, the tips and tricks and things that have already been created. You're also going to get the AI Executive Pro plugin. And now the Pro plugin has got more of the context setting. It's also got more skills, additional skills that are available to you. And it's also got a security audit. So it will scan your Claude and just check for anything that might be just not doing so well, anything that might be a security problem. It looks at all the skills that you've updated and uploaded and anything that might be a challenge. You'll also get lifetime access to the hub. So if you want to go back and watch the recordings, no problem. The complete Claude walkthrough. So we're going to walk through exactly what you need to do with the whole Claude, the settings, all of those. Anti-AI writing agents pre-built. The community and network. I think that's actually is going to be incredibly valuable. So when everybody's sharing their use cases and what they've built with Claude, it's going to inspire us to create something different, slightly the same, My summer dashboard inspired one of my clients, and he's suddenly gone and created a whole dashboard for his family. And now that dashboard's family protected. And then he said he wanted it to be styled like Apple. So I pointed him in the direction of how he can get that styling. So it's incredibly inspiring to watch what other people can build. You're going to make sure that we've got the safety all set up properly. And also afterwards, you'll have 1 month membership to the AI Amplified membership the month afterwards, which will give you additional skills, additional training, etc. And it is £197 to join the challenge. And we start on Monday, the 3rd of August. On Monday, perfect timing, August, great month, get it all done. And then suddenly you are going to be advanced users of AI. And I promise you, you are already in an advantage. You are already doing more than what the average person is doing with Claude. So imagine what you can create. What are your questions? I'd love to know. And also, who's in? Tell me, who's coming? I'd love to know. Or you can just ask me questions. Did this inspire you? I'd love to know if this has offered any thoughts about what you want to build with it. Or tell me, does it feel overwhelming? Is it still confusing? Tell me, I'd love to hear from you. What's happening?
I was gonna chat. I was gonna type, but you said to just speak, so this is
yeah,
easier.
just speak. No problem.
So yeah, I'm definitely in, and I'm just like, I don't. It's overwhelming, and I don't know where, but I just love to build these skills. If we can't make each of the sessions, will they be recorded?
Yes, of course they'll be recorded. So absolutely they'll be recorded, and they will be towards the afternoons of, I think we'll do an afternoon session or evening session on a Monday or Tuesday for the build sessions. So it might be slightly different. And then an afternoon session on a Thursday for the Q&A sessions. And they will definitely be recorded. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you.
The key question from me, which is part of it, it's I'm over many years of doing my own business. I'm brilliant at starting stuff, and seeing it through is not always my strength. So hence the comment earlier about shiny objects and needing to have the processes and controls. So I suppose the concern, which is just a human concern, of you get to 30 days, you dip in and out, you do a few bits, and then it's just another shiny thing that you don't see through. So I suppose I don't know you well, so it's that whole thing of knowing how robust the processes are going to be to actually make me stick to it.
Well, yes, I mean, it's, you're the one who's going to control the journey for sure. I'm an executive coach, so I'm pretty robust in terms of encouraging everybody to participate. I think you're going to want to stick around. You're going to want to be in the mix. When you start to see what everybody else is creating, I think that's going to encourage you to create for yourself. What would be your reason for joining, or for even using Claude? Not even for joining the program, but what would be the reason for using Claude for you?
Well, currently I use Claude for lots of writing and lots of proofreading and checking and deep research. I just don't have the processes created to back that up, which would take it to the next level.
Yes, exactly. So that's the whole reason to do 30 days, the next level. That's it. I mean, it's going to take 30 days to get to the next level. That is a tiny little investment to make. If you think about it, right? You'll know way more. You're going to be an advanced user of Claude at the end of this, for sure. I promise that. And you're going to be so much more efficient. My guess is that you will also want to go to the next level because of some other reason. What is that?
It's just the reality of getting people to work harder on my behalf so I can then play more.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So you can still bring in an amazing income, a great business, so that you can play more. And what is it that you want to play with?
Well, you mentioned swimming earlier. That's part of the beast that's in the background.
There you go. So if I can say you're going to be swimming more at the end of this, and you're going to have a great business, and the people are going to be able to know exactly what they need to do, would you want to do this program? Would you want to be there? Would you want to be participating and taking the action on it?
Well, that's the whole point. That's why I reached out.
Yeah, for sure. I just think the reason why, right? What is our reason why for doing this? And very often it has to do with building our business or creating more, or both, right? Creating more time so that we can do the things that we love. And this is going to definitely answer that. When you start to build these workflows, you'll start to see how quickly things can go. Like I said, I'm now able to do 2 businesses. I have my coaching business and I've launched this business, creating a challenge. If you think about it, it's a lot of work to do on your own. I don't have any VA, I don't have anybody helping me, but I'm able to manage both because of the workflows that I've been able to create. I definitely think
I
it's
hear
possible.
you.
All right, let me see. What are some of the questions? Lizzie, I think I don't even know where I would start with what's possible. Yes, overwhelming, lol. Like I can't even imagine what would be useful for me right now. Oh, but Lindsay, I have a skill for that. I have a skill that will ask you some questions. And even if the skill doesn't work, I'll ask you some questions because I'm an executive coach, I'm a coach, you know me, and we'll be able to figure out where you can start. And even if it's starting small, it might start to open up some options for you. Absolutely, you'll definitely get some direction. Amazing. It's been incredible to speak with all of you and to have you all here. I'm going to say goodbye. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My email address, if you want to reach out, I will put it in the let me just make sure that's correctly spelled. I will put it into the meeting chat. You're welcome to email me, reach out. Otherwise, please go and get a free plugin. Like I said, it's free. You've got the training. It would be amazing to see you in there. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I can't wait to see what you will create with Claude. So good to have you, everybody, and have a great week. Speak soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.